Welcome to Uping Stock Trend Prediction Channel. So in this video, I talk about the prediction and analysis of Tesla stock price for the next week. So if you like this kind of a video, the prediction and analysis, so you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction Channel or watch more video in YouTube. So today is June 10th. So in the last video 134, I uploaded to YouTube last weekend, and in that comment area, I answered a question and I mentioned the last week. That's the next week following the last video. That's basically the last week because today is Saturday. So I mentioned that last week they predicted weekly high. There's a good chance to go into maybe like $245, or if they have the strong increasing momentum, it may goes up to $250. So, but I also mentioned there will be two major resistance around $222 and $232. So you see, for the last week, for the past week, so this is the daily chart. This is last Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. So in the last week, basically that's the week after video 134. So that's a predicted Tesla stock price target high and target low. So when I mentioned the major resistance of 222, so on Monday when it increased to this price, this is 221.22. so that's just $0.8 different from what I mentioned, the major resistance. So this is basically also the top trend line value. So when on Monday when it increased to this price, that's $222. It's basically around $221.8, $222. That's the top trend line. And then the next day, around on Monday, after it reaches to this major resistance and it didn't break through, so it has a temporary drop even on that day. So it closed here. It zoom a little bit, make it bigger. So on Monday it opened here, and it went dropped to this major trend line, and then it started to increase. When it increased to this top trend line, that's the major resistance I mentioned. So it started to drop and closed here, and then on Tuesday and even closed a little bit low, and also has a lower price around here, dropped to this bottom trend line, and then started to increase. So generally the last week it have an increasing trend. So as predicted by this kind of a trend line, though it has a increasing trend. So you see, when it increased up to this top trend line on Thursday, that's still around $234, around $234. So it's still started to decrease a little bit more. So it increased. It still have an increasing trend. So the next day, Friday, it opened high, and even though it dropped a little bit more later Friday, but generally this trend lines are still increasing, and even for daily and weekly. So right now it's still have a very strong increasing momentum, and so as long as the next day or next week, as long as it is above this major trend line, this yellow trend line, so it's still have an increasing trend, may still trying to push up. But if it dropped below this around $249, $250, so if it's dropped below this trend line or even below this $244 in this range, it may still have a tendency to drop, but the general trend is still have a very strong increasing momentum. So the next week the fluctuation range is about between $261 and at least dropped to this $243, or may have a tendency, possibility to drop to this $233, and but very likely it will still have an increasing trend. So the high probability, the fluctuation range is between $244 and $261. So but it's generally increased to this relatively higher price. So temporarily it may still have a fluctuation, it may have a drop, the price decreased to a certain point. So but this is a typical fluctuation, even though it has an increasing trend. If you switch to this monthly chart and you see this monthly chart, it increased even above this top trend line, so that means it still have a strong increasing momentum, so it may still want to try to push up and may not even want to drop, so it will try to fluctuate around this range and also have a good possibility to still increasing more. So but generally this month it's already increased to a relatively high price, so you need to be cautious. So if you are interested in this kind of prediction analysis, you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel or watch more video in YouTube. By the way, this model I showed you, this is a simplified model with 5 trend lines. So previously I showed the trend lines with 6 trend lines, and this is simplified with 5 trend lines, and this the middle trend line is a kind of a very important trend line. So generally if it increased above this trend line, it will have some kind of more higher increasing momentum, and if it dropped below this trend line, so that means it may still struggle below this kind of trend lines in a lower price range.